Clear FX on crypto here. Just want to do a quick update on Bitcoin and what I might be doing. So here we are once again. We are approaching the 20,000 mark again. We did it once here, tried here. We did hit it here, or just under 20,000, and then she dropped back down to this trend line. Or is going back up. Now, my last video, I said that we're on the day chart here. We needed to wait a day or two for confirmation of whether it would hold below this trend line here. I'll just zoom out a little bit. This fairly steep trend line here, which I had been following, because it broke through here on December 11, and this is 2 days later, and it didn't hold, went back above this line. So now what do we expect? We are getting into a tighter area here, and it still needs to decide whether it's going to break through this 20,000, because 20,000 is a very strong resistance line. It goes back to 2017, so it needs to decide what it's going to do. Now, if we're kind of at a point here. Now, remember, in some of my videos I talked about the cup and handle. Well, we're in the handle area. This here, this whole piece here is basically the handle. Okay. If we look back to this whole big area here, right from 2017, came back down from 2017, it creates this big giant W here. This huge W here. We've got the bottom here, or the left arm, the left V here of the W, then the middle part, and then the right. And the right is higher, it has higher lows than the left, which indicates a reverse from the down trend, and a reverse into the uptrend. That's exactly what we saw here, and then all the way up to the top, the 20,000, same as the previous highs that we had. Let's get rid of that. Let's go back to here. Same as the previous highs as 2017. Back here. Oh, sorry. No. Let's get all the way back here to here, 2017. So that made, altogether, that made a huge cup, and then now we are forming the handle. But as I've said before in previous videos, the handle takes time to form. It usually, especially a long process of building a long cup like this, it takes time. You're not just going to break through this 20,000 just boom, just like that. It was a long. The big boys are involved now, and they're going to try and take out stops in here as long as they can. In other words, they're going to push the weak money down. They're going to do sells. They're going to sell their stops, and it's going to cause the weak money to sell out, and then they're going to buy back, and they're going to sell out, and they're going to buy back, and so it'll take time. And my feeling is that it'll take time. I think I said in the last video that it will bounce off this 20,000 and back and forth a few times. It'll be volatile, and then it will settle into a period of consolidation, and then finally make its move. Now that could be, a month or 2 months. I'm thinking at least a couple of months. And the reason why I'm thinking about that is this is a huge long cup and handle, that cup that has been performed. If we look back to the 12,500 point, where it hit 12,500, that was a fairly strong, this point here was a fairly strong resistance. And look what it did here. at this point. From this point, it finally approached the 12,500, and it took all this time before it finally broke above that 12,500. And that was that. What is that? That's from August, beginning of August, to basically the end of October. So August, September, October, almost 3 months. So say 2.5 months. And that was just for that. So this is a much stronger, and I said way back here when it finally started moving, I said it's going to head now to, once it broke that 12.5, I said it was going to head to the 20,000. But I also said that when it hit the 20,000, that it would not break through, that it would bounce off that for a time and either fall back down to a certain point or bounce around in a channel. Right now, it's deciding what it's going to do. It could still hit that 20,000 a little bit here, but it could still fall back even to this line here, which is now has become a support. It was a resistance further back, but this is also this trend line here is also a strong support. It was a strong resistance that it broke through here, and it now is a support. So it could bounce around here till even theoretically right up until you can see how far it goes. It just depends on how long the big boys want to play this out, and you and I have no control over it. We want it to go. We're eager for it to go, but the markets are going to do what the markets are going to do, and it's the big boys who really control the movements of the markets. We just kind of follow along for the ride. So this could, in my mind, I don't believe it's going to break through, because it was a real steep and fast move here. It just doesn't have the strength built into it yet. So I'm thinking it will bounce off of that and either have some volatility here and then eventually figure out a range where it will accumulate. Maybe it'll come down to here, down to this line, and then start accumulating, following this line, building up, buy pressure, and then finally take off. But you can see that's spring. We're into spring now. So so that's my thoughts there. And if you look at Ethereum, if you go back to Ethereum follows very closely what Bitcoin has been doing. Let's just zoom this out here a little bit, and we can see, that really it follows along the same kind of patterns as Bitcoin. No, it's ETH. Here we go. I'm looking at the wrong one. Here we are. There we go. So very similar. Around the same time, it broke through here, November, late October, November, and then powered through up to the 640, trying to hit that 640, missed it, just barely missed it here, came back. So it's doing exactly the same thing. It has actually even if we follow this trend line, we're looking at January. It gets to the point where it really has to make a decision end of January. But if we follow this trend line, which I didn't pull out, so let's just pull that out right now. Let's find out which one that is. It's this one here. Let's pull that out and it was following that line there. I'll circle where I'm looking here for you guys. You always want to try and catch as many points as you possibly can. So on this one, what I'm looking at is, start here. There's one. You've got, two, and then you've got one here, and then you've got another one there. And this one is it dipped down, but pretty much the body is the same there. So that's enough for me to say, to give me a line, a trajectory. So that takes us all the way out to, again, spring of 21. So it just depends on where things are going to happen. Like I say, the institutions, the big boys are involved now, and they're going to want to get as much money out of this as they can before. And by much money, I mean accumulating as much Bitcoin as they can before the big move, before they push the prices higher, before they really have no choice. And by that I mean, you know, they buy low, so maybe their low point is here or here. It just depends on where it is, or maybe it's down here. So they're going to let it get to a certain point, and then they're going to sell off. They're going to sell off their stops and push the price back down to whatever they feel they can get, and then they'll buy back, and they'll do it again, and they'll buy back, and they'll do it again as many times as they can. So this could happen fairly quickly in the next. I don't believe it'll happen now. In the next week, push above 20,000 could happen in the next month. But my feeling is that it will take at least 2 months and on into maybe, yes, basically spring, possibly spring. But at the same time, you want to be aware of things. So what to do right now? Bitcoin, if you have Bitcoin, just hang on to it, in my opinion. Don't buy anymore. Don't sell right now. Just hang on to it. Wait for it to decide whether it's going to actually break that 20,000. If it breaks that 20,000 and holds for a couple of days, 2-3 days, then yeah, go ahead and buy some more, because that means she's on her way. But give it 2 or 3 days to see if it holds. If it doesn't, if it just bounces off that 20,000, then fine. Let it come down. Let it find another bottom. And when it hits a bottom, you'll know, because it'll be a few days, it'll bounce off that and start to get higher lows. Just like, for instance, if we look back here, there's a low, it came back down, here's a low, there's a higher low, and then there's higher lows here. So that's an indication that that was reached a bottom. So if it does it here again, then yeah, then go ahead and buy some more Bitcoin here, because you can be sure that's what the big boys are doing. All right, so I was trying to make this a quick video, and that's about as quick as I can make it. So anyway, ClearFX on crypto. If you enjoyed the video and you got a bit out of it, then you know, hit the like button, subscribe, and let your friends know about it. All right, have a good day, and remember, everybody, it's in the lines. All right, have a good day.